Hey, what's going on? It is Thursday, April 10th, 2026. Over here at Hazard Center. Just ate dinner, and now we're going over to Barnes & Noble. I need to get the next Stephen King book, which is Misery. I finished it like 3 or 4 days ago, and now I'm working on The Dark Tower, Book 2, The Drawing of the Three. And I'm about a third of the way through that, so I assume I'll be done with it probably by the end of next week. So I just want to make sure I'm ready to read the next one, which is Misery. Hey, did you see those new Padre City Connect jerseys? They're pretty cool. Got a whole Dia de los Muertos vibe to them. Got some like a dark blue and marigold color, kind of evoking the uniforms from the 90s. I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to seeing them in action. I'll be at the baseball game tomorrow, so if you're watching this on Friday and you're at the Padre game, come find me. I'm not going to tell you where I'm at, but you can try to find me. Just go to every section and look for me. All right, let's go look at some books. There it is. What do you got there, kid? Screaming sheep, screaming goat, screaming possum, sad trombone.
Hey, we're back home and got Misery. Really excited to read that when I finish Dark Tower 2. But in the meantime, let's talk about It, the novel that I just finished this past Sunday. Read a lot of this in the hotel in Las Vegas. There was, we had some good downtime in between events. So I sat in the hotel room with Enid and Kelly, and Enid's watching cartoons and Kelly's scrolling on her phone, and so I was like, well, I'm gonna read my book. I had about half of it left when we got there, so I read through most of that on Wednesday through Saturday, and then when we got home on Sunday, I only had about 150 pages left, so I knocked that out real quick. Okay, so It. Let's just get this right off the bat. Where does it sit in the tier of Stephen King novels where S is the top pinnacle, best you could get, down all the way down to F, which is among the worst novels ever written? It is easily an S tier. This is one of the greatest books that I've ever read in my entire life. Maybe Stephen King's best. I still have a lot to get through. But certainly one of his most popular, mostly based, I think, on the how strong the 1990s miniseries was, as well as the recent films that came out. What was it, like 2022, 23, something like that? Anyway, It, if you're not aware of this, which I don't know how you couldn't be, it's a pretty well-known property. But it is about a killer clown who is terrorizing and eating children. That's his big thing. He kills and eats children, and it gives him some kind of power, some kind of way to kind of stay alive throughout centuries. They don't necessarily go into like where it came from. But you can theorize it's some kind of alien creature, some kind of cosmic entity that is planted itself in Derry, Maine, and is able to survive off of eating the souls of children. It's a really, really messed up character, like one of maybe the most terrifying antagonists in all of horror. I mean, certainly Pennywise the Clown is horrifying. I remember the miniseries completely wrecking me as a child when I watched it. I don't know why I watched this when I was 10 years old. My grandma thought it would be a good idea to let me sit and watch this on ABC with her. And I saw the scene where the blood comes out of the sink in Beverly's bathroom, and I couldn't brush my teeth for like a week. Like I couldn't go into the bathroom by myself for like at least a week. I was terrified. So I tried reading. I'm gonna put this down. It's kind of heavy. So, this was my third attempt to read it. The first time I tried to read it was in high school. Excuse me, very sweaty. Tried to read it in high school in English class for a book report. Got through. I just kind of fudged through the first like few hundred pages of it, and then just kind of wrote what I remembered from the miniseries. So I just remember being very taken with the book as a teenager in ninth grade, and reading the passage in the beginning where Beverly and her husband Tom have sex, and it talks about like how many times she comes, and I was like, what? Women come? I thought that was just something men did. I don't know anything about, sex, that much about sex when I was, 14. So to learn that, women have orgasms was like a revelation. I remember going to a friend of mine, like, did you know that women come? Like, do they have like jizz like dudes? And I think my buddy was like, no, man, they like have an orgasm. Like they can have a whole bunch. Because that's what this passage is about, is like how many times Beverly came. And I was like, well, like I only come like once, and then I have to like take a break. And my buddy was like, no, women can do it like a whole bunch in a row. Like if you're like good at what you're doing, they do it a whole bunch in a row. So yeah. That was interesting to find out about when I was in ninth grade. A Christian kid learning about woman's orgasm from Stephen King. So yeah, Stephen King taught me all about the female sexual experience, which I'm sure is very heartening to hear from many women out there. Stephen King taught me about your orgasms. I think I said orgasm like 5 times now. Yeah. So anyway, this one is not safe for work. So if you're a child, turn this off right now. Should have said that before I started talking about female ejaculation. Anyway. So yeah, that was ninth grade. I tried reading it. I got through most of the parts that were kind of similar to the miniseries. So I just kind of read what I remembered from from that. Anything that wasn't from that, I kind of like glazed over, and then I just kind of stopped at some point and just finished my report about, like I said, what happened in the miniseries, which is close but not quite the same as the book. So if my teacher really read it, like, she probably figured out that I didn't finish the book, but I remember getting a good grade on the report. Anyway, second time I tried reading it was when the movies came out. I was like, okay, I went and saw it chapter 1, loved it, and I was like, I'm gonna sit down and finally read it, like from the beginning, cover to cover, and not stop. Like, I'm gonna do this. And damn, very sweaty. It's warm in here. I'm sorry. All that female orgasm stuff got me like, "Urgh." I gotta stop talking about that. We're gonna talk about it more later. Sorry. Anyway, so I started reading it, and I didn't realize that there was this whole opening part of the novel that starts off with these gay men basically getting beat up on the bridge in Derry, right above the river, I already forgot the name of the Kangaskin or whatever it's called, Kaneski. The river, the main river where all the kids are hanging out down by the barrens. Anyway, the gay dude, one of them gets thrown over the bridge, and of course Pennywise comes out, fucking eats the guy, and that kind of kicks off the whole thing. And they take the other his boyfriend, lover, whatever, to jail, and they're talking to him about the murder or whatever. And he describes the clown and the balloons and everything. The whole Pennywise bit. And I didn't remember any of that from the novel. And I think it's because when I read it in high school, I must have just skipped right over all that. I was like, no, let me just get to the part where George is killed by Pennywise. because that's what I remember from the miniseries. The miniseries opens up with that. It doesn't open up with the gay man getting killed. If I remember the movies correctly, I think It Chapter 2 opens up with that scene. I could be wrong. It could open up with it in Chapter 1. I don't remember. It's been like 2 or 3 years since I've seen that movie. I want to watch it again. I'm probably going to watch it tonight. Maybe. We'll see. Anyway, so I didn't remember any of that from my first reading. So, I got through a good amount of it. I read the whole Beverly multiple cum scene again and, got very excited. And got through probably about 300 or 400 pages of the book before I put it down for the second time. God. Now we fast forward to I think it was about January when I started reading this, January or February. Decided that, okay, I have read the first 300 or 400 pages of this book twice now, right? And so I'm just going to jump right into a part that I do not remember. I don't remember, where I came, a point where I like I said, I don't remember. And so I can't tell you exactly where I started on this, but it was about 300 or 400 pages into the book. And yeah, I just went from there. The book and the miniseries and the film are all, it's interesting. Okay, so the miniseries kind of took the best parts of the book, right? It was shorter, more condensed, and see, I'm also stuffy. Shorter, more condensed, and just kind of picked the best bits of the book, right? The films were able to add in a little bit more of the things from the novel, particularly some of the ways the kids were chased and attacked and scared by Pennywise, Ben in the library being chased by the mummy, and the whole leper coming out from underneath the porch at the house, and just various little things that kind of they didn't have in the miniseries. They were able to put that into the film, and even more stuff is in the book, and just more ways that the kids were scared. Stanley with the birds, screaming the names of the birds, and that would that hurt it Pennywise a lot, and it just there's more. The book can be more nuanced because it's 1,200 pages long. It's a huge book. King had a lot to say, and so going back to just how I feel about the book is it really does seem like it's a almost memoir is the wrong word, right? Obviously none of these things happened to Stephen King as a child, but you can really feel his love of the 1950s when he was a young man, young boy. He talking about the things he loved back then, a lot of the music, the pop culture of the time, the Lone Ranger. Of course, you've got Silver, the bicycle, screaming "Hi-yo, hi-ho, Silver," as Big Bill rides the bike all through town, just zooming down those streets super fast. And you can almost get a sense was this something that King did? Did he love going really fast on a bike down the streets? I imagine so. I mean, I feel like he's talked about driving fast in cars and stuff. The guy is big on speed, and probably also the drug speed, but the physical motion of speed, he seems to really be locked in on fastness. So yeah, you find yourself, each book that King has written feels like you're getting something from his mind that is a little piece of him that maybe he is afraid of, or that he wants to stop himself from being. I think when he was writing it, he had children that were about this age, and so I'm sure he was going through thoughts of what happens if my children die. If you remember, in the 80s there was this huge thing called the Satanic Panic, where Christian groups thought that Satanists were kidnapping and raping and murdering children, eating them, things like that. And so there was, I'm sure, a lot of that stress and fear going on in his mind about what would happen if somebody kidnapped his children. I'm sure I didn't look anything up I'm not saying this is exactly what it is, but that's just the sense that I get based on the time frame in which this book was written in the early and mid 1980s. So it is just a phenomenal book. It's terrifying in all the best ways, and it really puts you into a different time, a different era. The 1950s is when the book is when they're children. Then it cuts to the 1980s when they're adults, and you really do feel like you're transported there. I mean, that's what King and all good writers do. They're able to transport your brain, your consciousness into whatever setting it is they have, whether it's a real life setting like Maine in the 1950s, or like in The Talisman when he sends you to the other side. I forget what they call it, the other side of reality or whatever. But when you get sent over to that other place, like it's not real, but the way he describes it, it feels real. Dune. Frank Herbert does it majestically. You are on Arrakis when you read Dune. Like, I can't picture anything other than the planet of Dune. Like I could. Anyways, I feel like I'm rambling at this point. Let me just say once again that I loved it. I think this is among the greatest books that Stephen King has ever written. Certainly, out of the ones that I've read so far, I would place this up there with The Stand. I would place this up there with Salem's Lot. These three are probably my favorite. The Stand is still my upper echelon tier. He still hasn't written anything yet that I've gotten through that beats The Stand. The Stand is brilliant, but it is a close second. It takes ideas and themes from Salem's Lot, which again, that's also another book about children being kind of kidnapped and killed, but in that one they return as vampires. This one they're just dead. Sometimes they come back as ghouls, but they're all projections of it, Pennywise's powers or whatever it is he has. But this comes very close. That's another big story about a large group of characters working together to take down an evil, like an ultimate evil. Who's more terrifying, Pennywise, it, or Randall Flagg? Well, they're two different kinds of terror. Randall Flagg is a very modern, a very Donald Trump-esque evil entity, right? He's this charismatic ghoul, for lack of a better term, who is able to convince people that his evil deeds and actions are for the benefit of humanity, or whatever, the group at large, right? Even though everything he's doing is to further elevate himself to a higher level of power. Whereas Pennywise is just brutally evil, doing everything it can to stay alive, to inflict as much pain and suffering on people as he possibly can, almost for a joy, a thrill of doing it. So just he's on the same level as somebody kind of like the vampire from Salem's Lot. Also, I get thoughts of the serial killer from Dead Zone. Those same kind of evil entities where there's no reason to be evil other than to just be evil. Like, there's no charismaticness that they're trying to do to trick people into thinking that they're something that they're not. They're just brutally evil. I guess Pennywise he does kind of try to lull you into this false sense of like, oh, I'm not going to hurt you, and then he rips your arms off. But then there are also times where he is just gleefully screwing with you and being like, I'm gonna kill you and I'm also gonna make you laugh, but I'm gonna kill you. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Like, I am here to eat you, and you can't do anything to stop me. So just that level of like confidence in like he will end your life is part of what makes Pennywise so terrifying. So okay, I think I've talked enough about it. I really liked it a lot, and like I said, I'm reading Dark Tower 2, The Drawing of the Three. Hopefully I'll be done with that soon because it's a very quick, very easy read, and then I'll be moving on to Misery after that. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you'll join me tomorrow where I talk about or do something else. Oh, actually, I do know what I'm doing tomorrow. I already told you I'm going to the Padre game, and we're going to see those new City Connect jerseys in person and hopefully win the game. They are currently tied with the Rockies as I record this, so let's hope that they got a run before the Rockies got a run. All right, take care. Bye. I just covered my face. Bye.